So as I mentioned at the end of the last lesson, we're getting really close to the part where we're about to create a loop where we can prompt the user for their input. So our loop is going to look like this over here. So what's going to happen is we're going to prompt the user with this function right here. Then we're going to read their input with this function right here. Then we're going to do something. And that's the part we're getting really close to doing, is the do something part right here. And then what we'll do is go back to number one and prompt the user again. So this part here, the do something part, there's going to be several different things we can do depending on the user's input. So they can add a task, they can delete a task, they can update them, they can ask for help, quit, or view the list of tasks. So there's quite a few things that they can do here in step 3, in the do something step. And what I want to do right now is implement a simpler thing, and that's the show help function. And then once we get that one going, then we can go ahead and start creating the loop. And again, I'm just doing this first because it's the easiest thing to do, and then we can get that loop going. Now, one thing I see over here is that the try is failing. And again, that's because I always forget to import scala.util.try. So I save that, and that should go away. So now that you don't have to watch me type, I'm just going to come over to the IO helper, and I'm going to paste that code in from the book. And then I can explain this a little bit. So what it does is it's going to show help. So it's very similar to prompting the user. All we're doing is writing to standard out. And indeed, all we're going to do is a println statement right there. And remember that anytime we're dealing with IO, we're going to wrap our function in try. So that's what I'm doing here. So it's really just 2 steps. And I could even do that in 1 line of code if I wanted to. But this first code here creates a string. So text is a multi-line string. If you've never seen that before, you create a multi-line string with the 3 double quotes like that. Then you put whatever text you want inside of here. And then on that, you call strip margin, which is kind of cool because strip margin gets rid of all of this stuff right here. So it treats this pipe character right here that I'm highlighting as a special character. And when you call strip margin on it, what it does is it deletes everything. It's hard to highlight that, but it deletes everything from that character over to the left. So that's what happens in each one of these lines, is that strip margin gets rid of this margin on every one of those lines right there from the pipe symbol over. And then what the user is going to see is this text over here to the right. So it's going to see possible commands. It's going to see that underline, and then the A line, the H line, the D line, so on and so forth. So I call strip margin to get rid of those. And then I call trim to get rid of this first carriage return up here, and then the last one that is right there as well. So that trims all that white space at the beginning and the end. Then println prints that string. So that's all this function does, is it prints the standard out. And therefore, because I wrap this in a try, this whole block of code right here is wrapped inside of this try. This one returns a try of unit, and that's because println doesn't return anything interesting. It returns unit essentially, so that's all we do, is we return a try of unit right there. And if you're interested in a slightly longer explanation of multi-line strings, I think I have that information here. And I also have a blog post on my website about multi-line strings. So again, just to be clear, all I did was create this function right here. And let me save that, and then we'll come back over here. And I did that because that's the simplest possible thing that we can get working inside of this do something area. And now that we have at least one thing that we can do here, we're ready to start creating the entire loop right here in the next lessons that follow.